perfection.
مسخر الشمس والقمر.
The subduer of the sun and the moon, turning the green adorned page of summer into the frigid white page of winter, and with the remaining works of the departed being erased from this world with the passing of time, it recalls the divine acts of the Creator of life and death in their passage to another, quite different world. It is a time that calls to minds the disposals of the Creator of the heavens and the earth's awesomeness and manifestations of his beauty in the utter destruction of this narrow, fleeting and lowly world, and the terrible death agonies of its decease, and in the unfolding of the broad, eternal and majestic world of the hereafter. And the universe's owner, its true disposer, its true beloved and object of worship, can only be the one who with ease turns night into day, winter into spring, and this world into the hereafter like pages of a book, who writes and erases them and changes them. Thus, at nightfall, man's spirit, which is infinitely impotent and weak, and infinitely poor and needy, and plunged into the infinite darkness of the future, and tossed around amid innumerable events, performs the Isha prayer, which has the meaning like Abraham man says,
لا أحب الآفلين.
I do not love those that set, and through the prayers seeks refuge at the court of an undying object of worship, an eternal beloved one, and in this transient world, fleeting life and dark world and black future, he supplicates an enduring everlasting one. And for a moment of unending conversation, a few seconds of immortal life, he asks to receive the favours of the all-merciful and compassionate one's mercy and the light of his guidance, which will strew light on this world and illuminate his future and bind up the wounds resulting from the departure and decline of all creatures and friends. Temporarily, man forgets the hidden world, which has forgotten him, and pours out his woes at the court of mercy, with his weeping, and whatever happens before sleeping, which resembles death, he performs his last duty of worship, and in order to close favourably the daily record of his actions, he rises to pray, that is to say, he rises to enter the presence of an eternal beloved and worshipped one, in place of the mortal ones he loves, of an all-powerful and generous one, in place of all the impotent creatures from which he begs, of an all-compassionate protector, so as to be saved from the evil of the harmful beings before which he trembles. He starts with Surah Al-Fatiha, that is, instead of praising and being obliged to defective, wanting creatures, for which they are not suited, he extols and offers praise to the sustainer of all the worlds, who is absolutely perfect and utterly self-sufficient, and most compassionate and all-generous. Then he progresses to the address.
إياك نعبد.
You alone do we worship, that is, despite his smallness, insignificance, and aloneness, through man's connection with
مالك يوم الدين.
the owner of the Day of Judgment, who is the sovereign of pre-eternity and post-eternity, he attains to a rank whereat he is an indulged guest in the universe and an important official, through declaring,
إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين.
You alone do we worship, and from you alone do we seek help. He presents to him, in the name of all creatures, the worship and calls for assistance of the mighty congregation and huge community of the universe. Then through saying,
اهدنا الصراط المستقيم.
Guide us to the straight path. He asks to be guided to the straight path, which leads to eternal happiness and is the luminous way. And now he thinks of the mightiness of the all-glorious one, of whom, like the sleeping plants and animals, the hidden suns and sober stars are all soldiers subjugated to his command, and lamps and servants in this guest house of the world, and uttering,
Allahu Akbar.
Allah is most great, he bows down. Then thinks of the great prostration of all creatures, that is, when at the command of
Kun feyekun.
be, and it is, all the varieties of creatures each year and each century, even the earth and the universe, each like a well-ordered army or an obedient soldier is discharged from its duty, that is, when each is sent to the world of the unseen, through the prostration of its decease and death with complete orderliness. It declares,
Allahu Akbar.
Allah is most great, and bows down in prostration. Like they are raised to life, some in part, and some the same, in the spring, at an awakening and life-giving trumpet blast from the command of
Kün feyekün.
Be, and it is. And they rise up and are girded ready to serve their Lord. Insignificant man too, following them, declares,
Allahu Akbar.
Allah is most great, in the presence of the all-merciful one of perfection, the all-compassionate one of beauty, in wonder-struck love, and eternity-tinged humility, and dignified self-effacement, and bows down in prostration. That is to say, he makes a sort of ascension. For sure, you will have understood now how agreeable and fine and pleasant and elevated, how high and pleasurable, how reasonable and appropriate a duty, service and act of worship, and what a serious matter it is to perform the Isha prayer. Thus, since each of these 5 times points to a mighty revolution, is a sign indicating the tremendous dominical activity, and a token of the universal divine bounties, it is perfect wisdom that being a debt and an obligation, the prescribed prayers should be specified at those times.
سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم اللهم صل وسلم على من أرسلته معلما لعبادك ليعلمهم كيفية معرفتك والعبودية لك ومعرفا لكنوز أسمائك وترجمانا لآيات كتاب كائناتك ومرآة بعبوديته لجمال ربوبيتك وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وارحمنا وارحم المؤمنين والمؤمنات آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
Glory be unto you. We have no knowledge save that which you have taught us. Indeed, you are all-knowing, all-wise. O Allah, grant blessings and peace to the one whom you sent us as a teacher to your servants, to instruct them in knowledge of you and worship of you, and to make known the treasures of your names, and to translate the signs of the book of the universe, and as a mirror to its worship, of beauty of your dominicality, and to all his family and companions. And have mercy on us, and on all believing men and women. Amen. Through your mercy, O most merciful of the merciful.